Okay friends, so what we're gonna do today is I want you to grab whatever coloring supplies you have and pull out your orange, your red, and you're gonna need your red orange, which I realize is over here. And you can pull out purple. I'm gonna pull out purple. And it's gonna make sense why I'm gonna have you guys use purple in just a moment, or your violet color. That's my blue, but I want the violet color. You're gonna need black as well, which apparently my violet color has escaped. There it is. You know how things of mine like to run off. All right, so let's start with looking at this portion right here. So we're not gonna worry about the rest of it. If you wanna add more to it, by all means, you can add more to it today. But you're not required to, you know, don't go overboard with it. I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is this, this orange, just orange. And I'm just going to give it a light shading of orange, because I want it to have, remember how in the Nearpod, I talked about it having, the Uluru has multiple colors that shine through depending on the time of day and how much light is hitting it. So I'm going to add a very light coloring of this orange color. Just very, very light. Barely can tell that it's there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black colored pencil and I'm going to just draw kind of like lines that I think could be on it. Now you can go through and you make it a little bit darker too. But like, you know how we talked about how it has lots of erosion marks. So I'm just going to draw some very loose, not super tight, wavy lines. And maybe this one will go in a different direction and come down, make a little valley space. And maybe over here, I'll have a little cutout because it does have some of those. Oh, excuse me. And then maybe I'll follow that line as well. And if you want to, you don't have to, you know, you can do little plunge holes maybe along there, wherever you feel it. Maybe some more on the inside of this one. Now, if you feel it necessary to add, I feel like it needed a little bit over here as well. Now I'm kind of decorating it as opposed to accurately depicting plunge holes because they're not going to be that organized, but I like it like that, but you don't have to do it that way. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for areas that are going to have highlights and areas that are going to have lowlights. So I stuck with orange to give us a base color. So highlights are going to be things that, so if the sun is coming from this direction, we're looking at the light source to help us create this. Light source I'm going to have over here. I'm not going to draw a sun. I'm just going to pretend that I know that the sun is over on this side. So I'm going to have my red-orange color, and I'm going to go and I'm just going to shade it gently so that I can kind of blend it together. Now, when you're shading things, it's helping us to create depth. And remember, we don't want to do a lot with this because this is literally where the light is hitting. So maybe a little bit right here too. Where the light is going to be hitting on the mountain to give it this little bit of a highlight. I'm going to blow my nose in a minute. And then same thing over here. Just where the sun would bring those features out. Now, I'm going to take red, okay? And I'm just going to gently bring that color down a little bit more and bring it into here a little bit more. And the reason I'm just kind of coloring over the whole thing is because that is blending and softening the red-orange highlight, but it's still there without it being super extreme. So I'm just evening out the colors that I'm using in it to give it that appearance that there's multiple light, like reflecting parts. Now, here comes the cool part. You're gonna take, literally the cool color part, take your violet. And see up here on the top is where I put the red orange color. And so underneath, I'm just gonna shade in very, very gently underneath there. Not a lot, just enough to make it look like there's a shadow using a color. So you see right here, I have it where there is a highlight on the top, so I'm not going to color all the way up to there. I am just giving it a little bit more of a shadow so that this area looks, well, has a little bit more depth to it. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, because you want to be able to see your highlights and your lowlights. Now with the purple or violet color being mixed in, kind of want to add a little bit along this side a little bit more, because the sun is coming this direction. And I know I'm coloring over the tree that I drew right there, but that's all right. You can always go back and darken up any of your black areas. Now, that stands out pretty well, but I am going to go through again, and I'm lightly layering. Now, when you layer colors like this, it's going to create more depth in your drawing, okay? It's going to create more visual interest. And I think a lot of my friends don't realize that if you slow down and you just color your colored pencils gently and add layers of color, you're going to get a much more interesting picture. Now I am going to blend in a little bit more orange, just to give it a little bit. It has the rock itself is a very warm, very red orangey color. But as you see, as I'm blending it, it's making those areas of highlights blend out, but without making them look like they completely disappear. And so the last thing that you're going to do is you're not going to re-highlight those lines, but you can go through and just do the outside edge. Just do the outside edge. And then go through and add any other plant life, like little plants that might be hanging out in the various areas, and just go through and make things a nice, interesting, darker color. Add some more things to it, plants, or you can add animals if you'd like, but you don't have to do that. Just make sure the only thing that is actually colored in your picture is Uluru itself. Other than that, that is all I have for you today. Make sure you turn it in at the end of class in the Google Doc that I have provided for you. All right, friends, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the project. And as always, be excellent.